I honestly, I wouldn't mind at this point if Caitlyn just started her villain arc. She needs to start putting her foot down because this, like, some of this stuff is getting a little wild. She comes into the WNBA, her biggest life dream to play professional basketball. She comes into the WNBA. She gets a special whistle the opposite way because she's getting fouled and flagrant fouled, and just the defense that they're playing on her is actually insane. Yet despite all that, has an incredible rookie season. And then on top of that, people are using her name for their hidden agendas on both sides. People are just using Caitlyn's name. And then if she says something, it's not enough. If she doesn't say anything, she never wants to speak out about anything. She cannot win.
Caitlin Clark has hit her limit, and this time she is ensuring her voice is heard. For months, the WNBA has capitalized on her image to drive ratings and media headlines, but Clark is now pushing back with force. Her bold statements aimed squarely at Commissioner Cathy Engelbert have created a massive tempest throughout the basketball community. What started as subdued tension between the players and league executives has now erupted into a full-blown crisis. The inciting incident was Napheesa Collier's fiery 6-minute exit interview, which completely commandeered the final spotlight from the competing teams. Rather than post-game analysis, the conversation pivoted to Collier's assertion that Engelbert had made a shocking comment about Clark. Caitlin Clark should be grateful for the WNBA, because without it, she wouldn't have all those endorsement deals. That one alleged quote spread like wildfire. Fans were outraged, players shared their reactions online, and the league suddenly found itself in disarray. Desperate to regain control of the story, Engelbert convened a press conference before Game 1 of the finals to clarify her position. However, her words only served to fuel the growing backlash. Now with Clark finally speaking up, the league confronts its most severe public relations crisis yet.
That you were disheartened by the characterization of your conversation with Napheesa Collier, just again seeking clarity. Did you in fact say that Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything? And do you actually feel that way, that without this platform, players like Caitlin Clark wouldn't be making what they do off the court?
Yeah, obviously I did not make those comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's been a great representative of the game. She's brought in tens of millions of new fans to the game. Proud of what she's put on the court. Unfortunately, the injuries held her back from a full season this year. But again, I'm not going to get into every point, counterpoint. It's not productive here. We're here to celebrate the WNBA finals. I think what Indiana just did was amazing with all the injuries they had and the everything they faced this year, bringing that to a Game 5 in overtime. But yeah, as I said, there's a lot of inaccuracies reported out there, and I certainly did not say that.
Engelbert vehemently denied ever making that statement about Caitlin Clark, and then escalated things by suggesting Collier's recollection of their private conversation was incorrect. In simple terms, she effectively called Napheesa Collier a liar on national TV. That's when the situation truly unraveled. This wasn't just any player venting frustration. Collier serves as a WNBPA vice president, deeply engaged in negotiating the league's collective bargaining agreement, which covers salaries, player schedules, travel standards, and maternity benefits. This is far more than gossip. It's a political earthquake shaking the WNBA. Once Engelbert issued her rebuttal, the situation instantly transformed from a misunderstanding into a head-on power struggle between the players and league leadership. So when Cathy Engelbert publicly dismissed Collier's account, she didn't merely reject one player's story, she undermined a union leader representing every woman in the league. That single moment altered the entire dynamic. Caitlin Clark, who had diligently avoided controversy all season, decided she could no longer stay quiet. For months, she had tuned out the noise, kept her focus, and centered on basketball. But when reporters pressed her about Collier's comments, she didn't waver or hide behind prepared statements. Instead, she offered a calm but direct response that sent shockwaves through the WNBA. I think Fee made a lot of valid points. Just like that, the energy in the room shifted. With one line, Clark ended her silence, showed her support for Collier, and made it known she was done playing nice. The league's biggest star had officially chosen her side.
I got us here, and I should. Cathy, no one cares. Literally, no one cares. Like how you're sitting right there, that's how we feel every time she speaks. Every time she speaks, us as players, that's how we feel.
One sentence, and the whole league seemed to hold its breath. That line wasn't arbitrary. It was a clear signal that Caitlin Clark, the public face of the WNBA, had officially taken a stance. And frankly, who could fault her? This is the very league that has used her name to sell tickets, increase TV ratings, and land sponsorships, all while permitting her to endure harsh physical contact on the court without adequate protection. Recall her rookie season. Clark was fouled more aggressively than anyone else, shoved, hacked, and elbowed, while the referees often looked the other way, dismissing it as physical play. If those same hits were dealt to LeBron or Steph, we'd likely see free throws constantly. So when the commissioner had an ideal opportunity to demonstrate concern for player safety but instead used Caitlin's name to burnish the league's reputation, it's hardly surprising Clark finally reacted.
Well, I mean, first of all, I have great respect for Fee, and I think she made a lot of very valid points. And I think what people need to understand, we need great leadership in this time across all levels. This is straight up the most important moment in this league's history. This league's been around for 25 plus years, and this is a moment we have to capitalize on. So that's honestly what I would say. I think there's, Fee said it all with what she said, and I think the points she made were very valid.
Then events became even more complicated. Following her press conference, Cathy Engelbert stated she had contacted Napheesa Collier to arrange a private meeting to resolve the issue. But before that could occur, Collier canceled, refusing to meet. ESPN reported the story, and the truly wild part is that Engelbert learned about the cancellation from the media, not Collier herself. That illustrates the depth of the division. The league's commissioner is finding out about canceled meetings via social media alert, and this is where Caitlin Clark re-entered the narrative. After Collier's cancellation, several players, including Clark's own teammates like Lexi Hull, publicly supported Collier, stating she wasn't wrong and that league leadership was out of touch. Clark didn't release a formal statement, but her actions were loud and clear. She ceased reposting WNBA content, remained silent about the finals, and liked numerous fan tweets that were critical of league leadership. Fans quickly took notice, dubbing it Caitlin Clark's silent protest. And that's precisely what it feels like. A quiet yet potent message from the league's top star that you can't continue using me while disrespecting the people around me. Before anyone dismisses this as an overreaction, it's crucial to look at the broader context. The WNBA is entering its most critical CBA negotiations ever. Player salaries, benefits, and working conditions are all at stake, with a potential lockout being a very real threat. Ownership is scrambling with the finances. But if the league's top athletes lose faith in the leadership, the WNBA could face its most profound crisis. The complication is that two key player representatives in these negotiations, Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart, are also co-founders of Unrivaled, a new off-season league. This is where the conflict of interest becomes problematic. If the WNBA doesn't secure a deal and a lockout occurs in 2026, Unrivaled could benefit enormously as players would turn there for income. Consequently, owners are suspicious, believing Collier and Stewart might quietly gain from a WNBA shutdown. When the commissioner gets into a public dispute with one of them, it only worsens the perception. This is precisely the source of Caitlin Clark's frustration. She sees both sides, the commissioner and the players, using her name as a piece in their strategic power game. All she wants to do is train, recover from her injury, and get ready for the next season. Yet, nearly every headline seems to circle back to her. Ticket prices, Caitlin Clark, TV ratings, Caitlin Clark, sponsorships, attendance, and even labor talks all seem to revolve around her name. And still, she's the one being told to be grateful for what the league provides. It's laughable. The reality is the WNBA needs Caitlin Clark much more than she needs it. Her games break viewership records, her merchandise is a top seller, and even while injured, her story garners more attention than the finals. Despite this, the league appears unable to protect her on the court or properly support her off it. Fans have taken note. The growing frustration online is palpable. Observers see that the WNBA was given a massive marketing opportunity in sports history and somehow continues to mismanage it. The irony is that Caitlin Clark isn't even demanding superstar treatment. She simply wants fairness and a chance to play the sport she loves without her name being dragged through the mire of drama, politics, and media spin. But each time she tries to concentrate on basketball, the league pulls her back into another controversy. The calm patience she displayed early in her career has vanished. This isn't the smiling rookie of 2024, this is a seasoned professional who has learned that silence often protects the system, not the players. By subtly backing Collier, Caitlin Clark sent an unmistakable message: you are not untouchable, and the consequences are just beginning. Players are forming factions, fans are in constant debate, and former stars have called this the most embarrassing period in WNBA history. All the while, Cathy Engelbert continues to hold polished press conferences discussing player alignment and stakeholder engagement as the league she runs verges on chaos. Just a few months ago, this was being hailed as the WNBA's golden age. Now, it seems more like the start of a major reckoning. With expansion teams, record ratings, and new investors, the WNBA appeared unstoppable. But now, people are questioning if a 2026 season will even happen. Let's be clear, that isn't on the players, it's on the leadership. You cannot continually dismiss valid player concerns and then expect them to pose happily for media day. You can't have the most famous female athlete feeling estranged from her own league while trying to promote a one big family image. Cathy Engelbert's denial might have been the last straw. Even if she didn't say what Nafisa Collier alleged, the fact that so few believe her is telling her credibility has been shattered. The worst part is that it's no longer about who is right or wrong, but about how catastrophically the situation was managed. The WNBA allowed a private dispute to become a public spectacle during its championship series. Now, headlines about women's basketball are not about who is winning, but about who is lying. This is why Caitlin Clark's subtle but firm position has such an impact. She isn't shouting or posting lengthy tirades. She's letting her silence speak for her, and that silence is more resonant than any statement Engelbert could make from a podium. The fans sense it, the sponsors sense it, and even sports anchors are treading carefully, uncertain how to frame this mess. What we are seeing is a shift in power. Players are recognizing they don't need the commissioner's endorsement to wield influence. Whether she meant to or not, Caitlin Clark has become the icon of that movement. Now that she has publicly sided with Nafisa Collier, the WNBA has entered full-blown panic mode, and it's when your premier star, the one carrying the league's popularity, begins to show she doesn't trust leadership, you are in crisis. The fans are not holding back. Social media has become a storm of outrage, making Cathy Engelbert a primary target. Threads with thousands of comments calling for her dismissal are common, and memes are spreading rapidly, including one that compares her to the "this is fine" dog in a burning room. It's harsh, it's viral, and it's a public relations disaster the WNBA cannot easily escape. For once, fans from all sides, Clark supporters and Collier supporters, are in agreement. The league's leadership appears completely adrift. That's how dire things are. Even fans who typically debate every minor detail online are united in a single opinion. This is embarrassing. To be fair, not everyone is taking a side without question. Some suggest Collier should have handled the matter privately, or that Clark should have remained uninvolved. But that's no longer possible. When you are the face of the WNBA, even silence is a statement. If Caitlin says nothing, she's accused of ignoring significant issues. If she speaks out, she's blamed for adding to the drama. She is trapped in a no-win situation, and the league put her there. They positioned her as the face of everything. Every commercial, every promotion, every highlight. They centered their brand on Caitlin Clark. And now that the narrative has spun out of their control, they act surprised? It's as if they forgot that when you make one player the centerpiece of your league, you also grant her the power to influence public perception. And Caitlin Clark is now wielding that power, quietly but effectively. You can see she is done being diplomatic and tired of her name being used in front office politics, union disputes, and empty empowerment talk. She isn't asking for special treatment, but for honesty and fairness, and the fans are with her. But this is where the situation becomes truly serious. This is no longer just a PR issue, it's a potential business crisis. The WNBA is currently negotiating its next collective bargaining agreement, the contract that dictates everything from player salaries and season schedules to travel arrangements and benefits. If these negotiations fail, which seems increasingly likely, the league could face a lockout, and that would mean no season, no games, and no paychecks. A total shutdown. If that occurs, the league's supposed golden age could come to an abrupt end, not due to a lack of talent or fan interest, but because of a failure of leadership at the highest level. And the worst part is all this chaos is unfolding during the most significant growth period in WNBA history. Sponsors, investors, and TV networks are finally giving the league their full attention. Attendance is rising, ratings are setting records, and for the first time, mainstream audiences are tuning in. This was meant to be the league's breakthrough moment, the dawn of a new era fueled by the Caitlin Clark effect. Instead of building on this momentum, the WNBA is stumbling over its own success. Cathy Engelbert's press conferences are not helping. Each time she addresses the media, she repeats the same talking points. We're listening, we value our players, we're working toward unity. It's all corporate jargon, and fans have grown weary of it. Meanwhile, players are posting cryptic emojis and memes about being silenced. The gap between the leadership's words and the players' reality could not be more apparent. Even coaches are beginning to speak out, though cautiously. Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White, who has defended Caitlin previously, once described her as a pawn in other people's games. That quote has aged perfectly, as that is exactly what this feels like. A large chess match where Caitlin Clark is moved around the board without her consent. The frightening part is that the league still doesn't appear to understand the gravity of the situation. They seem to believe it will all just fade away after the finals. It won't. Caitlin Clark has fundamentally altered the WNBA's power structure. She is more than just a player. She is a brand, a movement, and an economy in her own right. When someone of that stature starts to lose faith in leadership, the entire foundation begins to tremble. Consider the timing. Napheesa Collier cancels her meeting with Engelbert. Players begin posting messages of solidarity. Caitlin subtly sides with Collier. Then the commissioner attempts to project normalcy while reporters are asking if there will even be a 2026 season. This is not business as usual. This is a full-scale rebellion brewing within the WNBA, and the ripple effects are already spreading. Sponsors are reportedly getting anxious, networks are asking tough questions, and even NBA executives are said to be whispering about whether Adam Silver may need to intervene. After all, the WNBA operates under the NBA's peer view. If the situation continues to deteriorate, Silver might be compelled to make the move everyone has been avoiding, replacing Cathy Engelbert. If that were to happen, it would be the most significant leadership change in the league's history, and perhaps it's overdue, because regardless of whether you side with Napheesa Collier, the fact that so many players feel unheard is a clear indictment of the current leadership. The disconnect is not just about one quote, it's about years of players feeling dismissed and undervalued. Caitlin Clark did not start this fire, but her reaction has brought it into public view for everyone to see. So what are your thoughts? Is Caitlin Clark finally taking a stand for what is right? Or has this situation spiraled completely out of control? Like, subscribe, and share your opinions in the comments below. The very future of the WNBA could depend on how fans and the players answer that question.